You are being hunted, not by an animal, not by a person, by a memory. It lives in the sudden chill on an empty street at night, an irrational suspicion of a stranger's smile, in the way we lock our doors, not just against thieves, but against a shape in the dark we've never actually seen. This feeling is ancient, it is specific, and it is not yours alone. We tell ourselves these fears are products of modern life. The news, the crime shows, our own anxieties. But that is a comforting lie. The truth is, we inherited this fear. It was bred into us, not by ghosts or myths, but by another kind of human. For over 100,000 years, we were not the apex predator. We were prey, and the hunter looked almost exactly like us. To understand this, we must first shatter the mirror. We imagine human evolution as a lonely march of progress. Australopithecus to Homo habilis to Homo erectus to us, Homo sapiens, a straight line, a singular destiny. That is fiction. For most of our history, Earth was a crowded house of humans. Homo neanderthalensis in Europe, thick-boned and ice-adapted. Homo floresiensis, the hobbits, on remote Indonesian islands. Homo denisova, known only from a finger bone, and a legacy in modern DNA. And in the forested mountains of Pleistocene Asia, a ghost. Homo longi, the dragon man, with a skull so large it could hold a brain bigger than our own. And then there was them, the one whose name we don't yet know from a textbook, but whose shadow we feel in our bones. The one paleoanthropologists are just beginning to piece together from fragments. A tall, robust human, built not for endurance running, but for explosive power, a predator's physique. But the most terrifying evidence isn't in their bones. It's in ours. Go to a museum. Look at a Homo sapiens skull from 150,000 years ago, alongside one from a contemporary cousin, like a Neanderthal. You will see a difference, subtle and horrifying. The Neanderthal skull often shows trauma, crushed ribs, broken arm bones, consistent with hunting large, dangerous game up close. The injuries of a hunter. The early Homo sapiens skulls, particularly from Africa and the Levant, tell a different story. Forensic analysis reveals a pattern of trauma to the back of the head, of puncture wounds in the cranium that match not the teeth of lions, but the sharpened stone tools of the time, tools held by hands that knew how to use them. These are not the wounds of a hunting accident. They are the wounds of ambush, of execution. Archaeological sites like the Cave of Hearts in South Africa or Skull Cave in Israel show something darker than competition. They show selective butchering. Long bones cracked for marrow, skull bases removed, a practice often associated with consumption. This was not mere conflict over resources. This was systematic. This was predation. Homo sapiens were being hunted, processed, and likely eaten by another human species. The fear of being eaten by a monster is a universal human nightmare. What if that nightmare is a genetic memory? And then, about 40,000 years ago, the other humans begin to vanish. Neanderthals, gone. Denisovans, gone. Homo floresiensis, gone. We are taught it was climate change, or that we outcompeted them with superior brains and tools. But the timeline is suspicious. Our spread across the globe maps, with chilling precision, to their disappearance, like a shadow passing over the sun. New evidence suggests a more violent transition. A Neanderthal hyoid bone, essential for speech, found with a Homo sapiens spear point embedded in it. Neanderthal sites toward the end showing signs of extreme stress, malnutrition, reduced genetic diversity. The marks of a population under siege, pushed into marginal refuges. We did not just coexist with them. We replaced them, and replacement is rarely a peaceful process. But what about the predator? The one who hunted us? Here, the plot twists. They disappeared too, but not before leaving a final, terrifying signature in our psychology. Evolution shapes bodies, but it also shapes minds. What behaviors would be selected for in a species that was prey to an intelligent, tool-using predator for millennia? 1. hypervigilance to gaze. We are exquisitely sensitive to being watched. Studies show we can detect a direct gaze even in our peripheral vision. A predator sizing us up is the ultimate threat. This is why the feeling of eyes on your back is so viscerally unsettling. 2. The uncanny valley effect. We feel deep revulsion and fear towards things that look almost human but not quite. A still face, a slight distortion in movement. This may not be a glitch, but an ancient defense mechanism. The predator was almost us, but off. The wrong gait, the wrong proportions. Missing that glint of shared recognition in the eyes. That instinct to recoil could have saved your life. 3. Parochial altruism and rapid tribalism. We bond with our in-group with astonishing speed and ferocity because in a world with multiple human species, the stranger was not just from a different tribe. They were a different kind of human, one that might see you as food. The speed at which we dehumanize others today, in politics and war, is a tragic misfiring of a system built for a literal biological reality that no longer exists. For the dream of the hunter, our myths are full of shapeshifters, vampires, and doppelgangers, beings that look like us to get close, then reveal their true predatory nature. The werewolf myth, in particular, speaks of a beast within the man, a dual nature. What if these stories are the faint echo of a time when the monster was real? It wore a face unsettlingly like our fathers, our sisters. The predator is gone, but the software installed in our brains is still running. And in the modern world, without its original target, it latches onto new ones. This is the hijacking. Our politics become a landscape of us versus literally subhuman them. Our social media feeds become optimized paranoia engines, feeding our innate vigilance with endless threats. Our entertainment is saturated with zombie apocalypses and alien invasions. Stories where the defining feature of the enemy is that it looks almost like us, but exists only to consume us. We are using a psychology calibrated for a Pleistocene nightmare to navigate a 21st century world. It is like trying to fly a jet fighter with the controls of a horse cart. The greatest evidence that this haunting is real is not in the past, but in our present dysfunction. The inexplicable depth of our hatreds, the ease of our dehumanization, the pervasive sense of being watched, judged, and hunted by unseen forces. These are not just social ills. They are the ghost pains of a species that has forgotten the wound, but still feels its ache. So, are we doomed to be haunted forever? Is tribalism and paranoia our eternal fate? No, but the first step is the hardest. We must accept the ghost. We must look at our darkest impulses, the racist thought, the blind tribal loyalty, the irrational fear, and not just condemn them, but understand them. They are not evidence of our inherent evil. They are the scar tissue from an evolutionary war we no longer remember fighting. The predator is gone. The war is over. We won, but we are still carrying the battle axe, swinging at phantoms and calling it justice. Our task now is not to deny the fear, but to recognize its origin, to see the stranger and, despite the ancient alarm bells, choose to see a potential ally, to feel the pull of the tribe and consciously extend its borders, to take the hypervigilance meant for spotting predators and redirect it towards spotting our own biases. We are not deleting the old software. We are learning to run a better program on top of it. If you've made it this far, you've done something remarkable. You've stared into a dark corner of our shared past, and you haven't looked away. That means you're not just a consumer of content. You are part of a different tribe, one defined not by fear of the other, but by the courage to understand. So welcome to the tribe. The conversation starts below. What part of this deep history resonated or disturbed you the most? Your thoughts are the first step in building a new story, one where we finally lay the ghosts to rest. And if you want to continue this journey with us into the forgotten corners of what made us human, you know what to do.